This was freaking epic! Hey everybody, welcome back. It's your girl Rosalie. Welcome to the Ultimate World Music Reaction channel, where we explore music, psychology, sociology, diving into all these amazing artists from around the world. I'm checking out something new today. I want to listen to The Sound of Silence by the group Disturbed. It was put out 2015, so I'm a few years late, and it has over 847 million views. It was recommended to me, and I'm really excited to figure out what this is out. I have no idea about this band. They have over 3.7 million subscribers on YouTube. The band Disturbed is a heavy metal band from the States, from Chicago to be specific. So I've been diving into quite some rock and metal. I explored some symphonic metal listening to Nightwish. I've explored some metalcore, like hardcore metal, listening to Ginger from Ukraine. And now I'm going to check out Disturbed, The Sound of Silence. I know the song, The Sound of Silence. Paul Simon was the one who wrote the song, The Sound of Silence. Paul Frederick Simon, American musician, singer, a really acclaimed songwriter. It's a very popular, very famous song. Hello Darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again, because a vision softly creeping left its seeds while I was sleeping. And the vision that was planted in my brain still remains within the sound of silence. We'll see. We know it. Well, I know it. I know the song, but I have no idea of this group Disturbed or what they're going to do with this. And since it says they're a heavy metal band, I'm really intrigued to see what they're going to do with this song. So let's check it out. As always, like, share, subscribe, you guys. Check out the links below if you want to get yourself some merch or buy me a coffee and skip the line with your song request, or become a patron. A bunch of ways to support, to connect, so check it out. Let's dive right in. Disturbed, The Sound of Silence. I would love if you let me know below where you're from, what you think of this group and this song, and what I need to know. Help educate me, please, so that as I explore this band, I can learn more. But I like listening with fresh ears and an objective mind and not knowing too much. So let's check it out. Disturbed, The Sound of Silence. That's a really cool setup already. I see a harp, an acoustic guitar. What is that, a trombone or trumpet? Grand piano.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again, because a vision softly creeping left its seeds while I was sleeping. And the vision that was planted in my brain still remains within the sound.
He has a very cool voice.
Of silence. In restless dreams I walked alone, narrow streets of cobblestone.
Wow, his voice is epic.
Neath the halo of a street lamp, I turned my collar to the cold and damp. When my eyes were stabbed by the flash of a neon light that split the night and touched the sound.
Guys, ooh, his voice is ringing in the most beautiful way. Oh my gosh. He has a beautiful voice. Like, I feel like that goes into your soul, like under your skin. Wow. The setup of the music video is really cool too. The way that the instruments are all laying there, almost like destroyed, almost like when something is laid waste, right? The grand piano laying on its side, the different instruments just laying there, then the dirt that was falling into or out of that acoustic guitar, and then the percussion on the tree, just very, in a way, eerie, in a way kind of dark, but not dark in the sense of fear and gloom and death, but more in the sense of a feeling of somber. And it kind of fits just the idea of the sound of silence when music has been silenced, when the sound when music has been silenced, when like even the piano keys being burnt in the beginning, just very very somber, looking at darkness, but not in a scary right type of way, but I laugh and make fun of my own faces. But in a very somber way. And even the lyrics work with that, right? I've come to talk with you again, darkness, my old friend. A vision, and then how he opens his eyes, softly creeping, left its seeds while I was sleeping. Within the sound of silence, in restless dreams, I walked alone. We'll talk more about the lyrics at the end, but the video is very fitting to that idea. Ooh, but then his voice, dude. Whoa. Okay, here we go. Keep going.
Silence, and in the naked light I saw 10,000 people, maybe more. People talking without speaking, people hearing without listening, people writing songs and voices never shared, and no one dared disturb the sound of silence. Fool said I, you do not know. Silence like a cancer grows. Hear my words that I might teach you. Take my arms that I might reach you. But my words, like silent raindrops, fell and echoed in the wells of silence. And the people bowed and prayed to the neon god they made. And the sign flashed out its warning, and the words that it was forming. And the sign said the words of the prophets are written on the subway walls and tenement halls, and whispered in the sound of silence.
This was freaking epic. I love how that just grew and just woo, from the way that his voice just with such strength, but not tapping into his ability with that rasp quite yet. Just starting with fullness, a very rich, full voice, a lot of strength, a lot of control, and then just building to the point of like that rasp and that not quite the scream, but just that force, and just beautifully done, perfectly done with how the song progresses. The Sound of Silence, as I said earlier, is a very famous, very beautiful song. I mean, it's just amazing when you can write a song like that and it goes down in history as a timeless piece, covered by so many in different ways. The lyrics are blah. I mean, hello darkness, my old friend, I've come to talk with you again, because a vision softly creeping left its seeds while I was sleeping, and the vision that was planted in my brain still remains within the sound of silence. In restless dreams I walked alone, narrow streets of cobblestone, neath the halo of a street lamp. I turned my collar to the cold and damp, when my eyes were stabbed by the flash of a neon light that split the night and touched the sound of silence. Interesting, because at the end it talks about people bowing and praying to the neon god they made. And in the naked light, I saw 10,000 people, maybe more, people talking without speaking, people hearing without listening. Very profound here, very poetic, but profound, and very fitting to the idea of the sound of silence. When people talk without speaking, I would interpret that. And there's different ways to interpret this song, and there's things that we'll talk about in just a second with what the song means. But to me, when I just hear that part, I think it reminds me of a day and age of the neon lights and all the man made things that people end up being bound to and enslaved to, that they have made with their own hands, dead gods that they end up worshiping. It makes me think people say a lot these days. They talk a lot without speaking. They often hear without listening. We do live in a time, and maybe that's always been the case because humans are humans, where if we're not careful, so much is said, but we're not saying much. So much is heard, but we're not listening. Fools, said I, you do not know. Silence like a cancer grows. Hear my words that I might teach you. Take my arms that I might reach you. But my words like silent raindrops fell and echoed in the wells of silence. And the people bowed and prayed to the neon god they made, and the sign flashed out its warning in the words that it was forming. And the sign said, the words of the prophets are written on the subway walls and tenement halls and whispered in the sound of silence. This was a 1960s hit by Simon and Garfunkel, and according to some interpretations, and I would love to know what this song means to you personally, not just the general interpretations of what the song meant, not even what it meant to the songwriters or what is said about it, but to you personally, what do you hear? Because sometimes there's songs that are so open for interpretation, everybody hears something different. Then you have songs where the general public knows what it's about because the songwriter told us, or because it speaks for itself and it's so obvious you can't deny it. But then you have songs that may mean something because people have taken it apart many times before. Even the songwriters have spoken on it, and it's kind of known. But even in those situations, it's nice to see when people still hear their own unique interpretation. So let me know in the comments below. It was a 1960s hit, and it's meant, or it's said that it's a warning against the dangers of indifference. And that also is interesting with the music video because you have the piano keys burning up in flames. You have these instruments laying there dormant, and then this person taking up the percussion, and the drums come in later, which adds a really cool element in my opinion. And then in the end you have the boat with all the instruments floating towards the shore where I believe all these people, the thousands, 10,000s, were standing. And then there was also children towards the end. So I wonder if that is a little hint towards the future generation, right? Children being warned, being encouraged to do differently than those 10,000s who end up worshiping the neon signs they make. According to medium.com, it says, ever feel distressed and alienated by the shallowness of the social environment we live in to the point of feeling unable to get in touch with others? I think that's very applicable in our day and age. That wasn't the case when this song was written in the 1960s, that everybody was on their iPhone, but I feel like the temptation to be consumed by things has always been the case. Before the time of iPhones and MacBooks, I feel it could have been different things, right? People seeking it out in drugs, right? In the 50s and 60s and in the hippie eras, people trying to go to parties and get lost in music and in drugs, maybe to find enlightenment, to experience something greater, or to escape suffering and internal turmoil. One of the things that I'm starting to really appreciate about rock and about metal is that they don't shy away from, pardon me, that they don't shy away from talking about the hard stuff and expressing their emotions. It's something I enjoy about Middle Eastern and Arabic culture, is that sometimes, even in Hispanic culture, a lot of times there is this animation and this passion, right? When they talk with their, when we speak with our hands, or the facial expressions, or when there's grief or joy, right? When they celebrate weddings and engagements parties, there's a lot of partying going on and joyful sounds. When there's a funeral, often in Middle Eastern countries, there is a lot of grief and suffering, sometimes even professional mourners that are hired to wail, right? There's this there's less of a fear to really deal with your emotions and to experience them. And I think one of the things that's appealing, and increasingly appealing to me in metal and in rock music, is that there's this courage to scream and to deal with the hard stuff. Yeah, it's really interesting. It's a soothing rhythm for sure. The sound of silence, according to medium.com, it talks of the song being relaxing, soothing rhythm, and I agree with that. It's a very timeless song, and it's soothing and calm, yet so profound lyrically. The Sound of Silence is a very peculiar history written by the then 21-year-old Paul Simon. Y'all, you can write a song like that at 21 years old. Crazy. And it was included in the duos in their album, the 1964 album called Wednesday Morning. The work was a sales failure. I did not know that, which then led the two friends to split their ways. Garfunkel went back to college and Simon left for England. Really crazy that that was a failure because that thing's blown up crazy. And then eventually Simon and Garfunkel reunited, and the republished single was an overnight sensation, and Simon and Garfunkel ended up reconnecting. But it was the message conveyed by Paul Simon in the sound of. But was it the message? Medium.com asks. The message of this song that led to that instant boom, instant breakthrough. The topic represents right from the beginning of we all know that verse. Right from the beginning, we recognize the song when we hear "Hello, Darkness, My Old Friend." And according to this source, the author has no one to talk to but the dark, to whom he tells almost like a confession about the dream that he had. And the first theme is loneliness, walking the narrow path, and then that neon conveys an idea of cold modernity. And I think that makes sense because even before the age of iPhones and computers, we had, like I said earlier, it could be drugs, it could be partying, it could be the neon lights that were becoming a thing, the city life, right? It doesn't have to just be a phone that people are glued to. I feel like from the beginning of time, anything can become a false god. Think about how rare it is to have deep, heartfelt conversations with another person. In these circumstances, the human sensibility and creativity get lost, also for fear of revealing our true self. So powerful. When people become incapable to share feelings and they're desensitized. Some people say it's no coincidence that Simon wrote the lyrics around the time that John F. Kennedy was assassinated. It paints this picture of people that are disheartened, that are dazed and uncertain. Silence like a cancer grows, hear my words that I might teach you. And the author in this song tries to warn people to listen. And the final verse, the fifth and final one, which is also the longest one, it addresses the consumerism against of the day and age, the modern consumerism. And again, this is not just happening now. This was already the case around the time the song was being written, right? Consumerism was not just a phone thing, right? Consumerism can be through radios and newspapers and televisions being up and coming, and advertisement, billboards, neon lights, commercials, right? That was already present. Very, very relevant. The sum up key message of The Sound of Silence is that we don't ever have to stay quiet. We should not be afraid of speaking out. To me, it almost would mean the sound of silence, the cost of being silent, is that people end up being dazed and hazed and brainwashed and worshiping the neon god and losing their creativity and significance. That's the cost of being silent. That's the cost of not resisting what is not right. And I think that song very much is still very, very relevant, if not even more so, because the neon sign has just gotten bigger. That's what makes it so unique. You don't have to scream that. And from what I understand, Disturbed is a metal band, which makes it all the more neat to see that he is not diving into the hardcore metal here. I'm curious to see what else they do, because his voice is phenomenal. I really, really like it. But here it really just showcases his powerful, gifted singing voice, and then that rasp and that touch of scream. To me, who have never heard Disturbed before, it's almost like a teaser of what he's capable of and what else could be coming. But I really love that they didn't turn into some heavy rock, heavy metal version of this song, but they really stuck to the original and made it their own in a very artistic way, be it from the performance, be it from the music video, from the way that he sang it. He just was an excellent, excellent cover of this song. Absolutely beautiful. Yeah, this reminder that the sound of silence, we must not be afraid to break the silence, to speak out, and not just be people that hear but don't listen and speak but don't say anything, right? That what we say carries value, that what we comment and what we type has meaning, that what we hear is feeding us nutrition, right? You can't live off of candy. You will not make it very long. You will not feel whole. And in the same way, the things we hear, the things we listen to, the things we fill our eyes and our mind with through what we see, what we hear, what we expose ourselves to, can either bring life or death. It can either bring health and make us feel fed, like when you had a good meal with vitamins and nutrients, or it can make us feel empty and stuffed and sick. And I think that goes for everything, what we watch, what we listen to, and what we say. So my encouragement today to you would be choose life, speak life, comment wisely. Be careful what you listen to. Be careful what you watch. Fill your mind with things that are honorable and noble and true and good. What a powerful song. I've never dove into the lyrics as much as I did today, and it made the song all the more special. But the way that they just delivered this, their rendition of this song was absolutely phenomenal. I'm excited to listen to more Disturbed. What should I listen to? What other songs showcase their talent and what they do and who they are as a band? Let me know in the comments below what you think about this song, what you think about this band and this rendition of this timeless track. Thank you guys for watching. Check out the links below if you want to listen to my own music, if you want to support, be a patron, buy me some coffee and jump the line. Buy yourself some awesome merch, all kinds of different collections in it. So have a look around. But I appreciate you stopping by. As always, subscribe. I'll see you soon. This was Rosalie Reacts. Till next time. Heyo!